Well, how about all these cars that are getting stolen?
How?
I mean,
How does someone steal a car? How do cars get stolen these days? Like it's bad lately.
they take them out of Mannheim or Odessa with the drive out,
How do
and
they
then
get it out?
somebody gave them a drive out.
Welcome to the Independent Dealer Podcast. Luke, that intro sounds weird, huh? I feel like I'm missing something there.
You are missing something, but I think it's right.
That's all right, man. Times change. Times change. We're still trekking along. Hey, we've got Frank here with Auto Hauler Exchange. And so you guys know, if you go back into the archives back in 283, we did an episode with Auto Hauler when they were just, I don't know, Frank, were they little babies 2 years ago? How old were you guys back in 2023?
We were in our infant stages, probably 6 months ish of moving vehicles.
Ah,
Building a marketplace for our folks to move vehicles. But yeah, that was pretty infant stages. We were kind of walking, or just getting out of our crawl phase, I would say.
And Royce and Dana were nice enough to join us back then and talk about the shipping industry and really what's the pain points that us as dealers have when it comes to just getting cars from the auction to our dealership with the least amount of hassle and headache and brain damage as possible. And you would think that this would become a simpler thing, or that some of the legacy platforms would have gotten on board and maybe followed suit and made some changes. But I'm we're still
I think
none of
it's
that's been fixed.
so, Jeff. I think the legacy platform, it's not a big deal for that company, and so it's an afterthought, and so they don't care to make it better. They're not liable for anything. They just don't care, and so we need an upstart, and we need someone that can switch this paradigm and make it better for dealers, because what we have right now is the Wild West, and I think we've used that word.
And Frank, as you see it, what is or was broken with the shipping industry?
Yeah. Coming into it, a lot of my customers are focused around dealerships, and because there is other parts of what we do, OEM stuff, personal vehicles. I'm focused on dealers, and dealers care about two things: speed and money. They want to get that vehicle as soon as they say purchase, to get it to their recon facilities and get it through and get pictures of it. And they're also combating these arbitration windows, whether it's 10 days or whatever it is, where if they get this unit and it's traveling 1,000 miles, they want to make sure that that vehicle is getting back, that they can inspect it in case it has a blown motor, transmission. So we're fighting that as well. And then the money part of it. And there was really two options. There was the giant load boards that you could post to that weren't properly vetted, which was great. You're going to get a great rate. You might get speed, but you're going to get not very reliable carriers possibly, and you get vehicle theft. And then those boards were a good thing at one point until they were infiltrated by not so good people. So now the vetting comes into it, and now you got $100,000 vehicles, $200,000 vehicles being stolen, and it becomes a huge problem. And then the other option was really the brokerage model, and giving somebody a quote, and this is what I'm holding you to, and then going to beat down a carrier to try to make the biggest margin in between. But what that does is that takes time and that takes more money. And so we kind of built something where we combine really the best of both worlds, is giving the ability for our customer to post their own rate direct to the carrier. The same rate that they're posting to the carrier is the same rate that they're posting, the same rate the carrier sees. And then it just really didn't allow like less muddying of the waters, I would say, and more transparency, and getting good carriers what they need. We pay the carriers on their behalf. We vet the carriers, which we're eliminating a lot of that stuff that some of the giant load boards couldn't really do. And yeah, it was just, no more having to dispatch and talk to different carriers.
Yeah.
It was just a marketplace to kind of consolidate it all into one place.
Well, how can your platform do this when the traditional platform can't vet these things? Why does it work for y'all and not for the traditional way?
Yeah, I mean, it's really I think there's still good brokers out there that are vetting their carriers because they don't want to be liable, right? So we use the best third party vendor out there to monitor FMCSA scores, DOT scores, insurance is valid, and if it's going to lapse next week, they get removed from the network until they give us a new their new insurance form, and then they get re-put onto the platform and regain access. So just having a good, because you don't want to get burned, you don't want your customers getting burned, and so just monitoring that. But I think everyone has the ability to do it. It's costly, and then those giant boards, they just want carriers because they're getting subscription fees from all these carriers. We'll let them all on, but again, we're not going to be able to vet them all. But that's how they're making their money. It's kind of the wild, wild west, like you said. Whereas we don't charge our carriers to be on our platform. It's kind of a more we're pretty selective, I would say, of the carriers that we allow in. And then if we have a carrier, again, in order to find bad carriers, sometimes or carriers that aren't reliable, you got to kind of let folks in that qualify. And then if you find bad ones, you just remove them from the network, or ones that aren't communicating correctly, or all that. But over the last 2.5 years, we've built a reliable network of carriers that fits the standards and expectations of our customer.
Yeah.
And
So the biggest issue I had, Luke, sorry, is
yeah,
before, when you would post on the big boards, you would get phone calls from 50 different brokers. It wasn't the shipper. Like I don't want to put my load on a board to be picked up by another person who's just going to go and try to vet it out again. Like that is the biggest brain damage. And if you can't keep those brokers out of there, the third party people, that's just such a crazy headache.
You're right. And I guess it's helped with like our marketplace type business model of, now you don't have to deal, even if you had to deal with carriers. I know on some of those boards, right, you're going to have 5 different carriers reaching out to you, and you got to dispatch your load to that carrier, then that carrier falls out, and then you got to redispatch it to another one. Or you're going to have brokers hassling you for them. They want your business now. The marketplace, once you post it, it's really a set and forget it type philosophy. Once you post it, if you post it at the right rate, again, we give our customers the ability the autonomy really to post at whatever rate they want. If you post it for $1, it's never going to move. But if you price it in the right pricing insight based on where the market is right now, that vehicle is going to get picked up pretty quickly. You've probably seen, and everything is kind of handled after that point. There's no dispatching. You get notifications of when that vehicle plans on delivering. We have a pretty small window of when a carrier is able to check that out. And we're averaging around 4 days right now from posted to delivered. And we have customers all over the country that are buying from all over the country. So transit times, pull into that as well. But if you post at the right rate, it's within seconds that you're going to get assigned to a carrier. A carrier is going to pluck it off on marketplace.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So there was a lot there, and I want to talk about each one of those components as the pain points us dealers have when we're trying to get something shipped, and talk about that. When I was using the big boards, yeah, you'd get calls from brokers and get headaches. And then I went to just using one guy. I had a guy, right? Everyone has that guy, and he's your shipper, and he runs one route for you pretty often with his own truck. And I would send him stuff, and he would have a guy that would run the other route. But the problem is that guy only runs that route once a week. So if I didn't get it to him and get on that load, I had to wait till the very next, Thursday to get on his load that time. And then he'd ship it up, and it would sit in the next spot for like a week, waiting for my guy to go down and get it on his next trip. So what I've found is being able to get a shipper to pick it off that says, yeah, I'm coming through your city. I'm going to pick it up tomorrow, and I'll have it there by the next morning. It's not going from it's not playing this like hot potato game where it goes from one spot, ends up at a Manheim, sits there for 3 days. When the next
do
guy
they
picks
actually
it up.
do that? Does that actually happen?
My guy would, yeah. Because he would only run certain routes. There's routes like in the West Coast, they'd run Southern California to Vegas or Phoenix to Vegas. But very few people run Southern California past my town, right? So my guy would go pick him up in Vegas. He would just do my town to Vegas back and forth once or twice a week. And he'd have his buddies bring it up from Southern California. So if they don't match up, my car's sitting down in a parking lot in Vegas for 7 days.
Frank, do y'all let that happen? I've never heard of such.
Yeah, I mean, what's great in the industry is you did have a relationship, and that he's done well by you. You value that relationship.
Yeah.
But now we're giving you the ability to really cast a wider net, and if that relationship falls through, now we've built a bunch of relationships on your behalf. So now post them to the dealers that we have relationships with and get your vehicle quicker. We do have something recently just built in too, where you can give that carrier friend of yours, if we included him into our network and he fit our standards, which I'm sure he would if he's working with you, you could give him like a preferred booking request. So let's just say you posted that load out of there. You want to give him the first right of refusal, but he can't do it. then it'll just go to the board to all the rest of the network of carriers. So boom, let's give him the right. I like that relationship I built with him. Let's give him that ability. But hey, he can't do it until next week. All right, I can't wait that long.
Hey guys, just to jump in and talk about Buckeye Risk Services. They've been one of our sponsors forever. They're great to the industry. They're one of your sponsors. You don't even know it. Every time you go to a convention or something like that, they're there helping out. Isn't that right, Jeff?
Yeah, absolutely. I have not seen a company so willing to get behind the dealers from an education, from a support standpoint. I mean, there's a handful that we see in our sphere that are very active and always have our back, but Buckeye really sets the standard. So when you're looking for a reinsurance company, if you've decided it's time to get into it, you've got to call the guys and girls over at Buckeye. I promise you will not regret it.
Yep. Reinsurance, forced savings account, wealth building, tax planning, all these things go together. So call Buckeye.
What about the opposite? Can I blacklist people from taking my bookings?
100%. If there's the ones that you had a bad experience with, I'd hope that you would call us and let us know that, and that's what would happen.
Well, it's not that. It's the guys that grab my booking right away. They sit on it for 3 days, then they cancel it because they decide they can't make their route or their truck breaks down, and now I have to go back to the board and wait another 2 or 3 days.
That's the worst. How do you get past that?
Yeah, how you get past that is letting us know too, because if we find a carrier, and we're monitoring that too, if we find carriers that are doing that too often, again, it's very easy. You just remove them from the network. And we're not dealing with those carriers anymore. And then we give them warnings and things too. Like, we understand breakdowns happen, but if once a week you're holding a load to wait for something more expensive, something, we get it. It's all, they're trying to
tying them all up, hoping you get that 5th or 6th car.
But if you're breaking axles every week, or, you're getting a tire issue every week for, loads like that, then, hey, we're going to alert that. And there kind of be a flagged account kind of thing, or a flagged carrier.
Yeah, that's the worst, is when you've been waiting for a car and they're like, oh yeah, I broke down. And you're like, could you have told me that day? It would have been a lot better here.
What about, let's talk about the pricing thing, because that's a big concern, right? Prices they're not static. It's not like a $1.25 a mile or a $1.50 a mile. Like, it changes, because I know that on my routes, sometimes I'll post them for $1 a mile and they'll get picked up within seconds. And other times I'll have stuff sitting on there for $1.50 a mile and I can't get anyone to get my attention. I know you guys have the AI pricing tool. I'm too scared to use it.
Yeah.
Why is that?
Yeah.
I don't want you guys pricing my cars. I don't want AI pricing my cars.
Yeah, I mean, it's just using lane data, different, bid systems, because we have that bidding function too. Whereas if you put a load in, you want to post it at 800, but you're willing to go up to 900, and a carrier bids 850, it'll get assigned to him. You don't have to do anything. It's just kind of like, yeah, I'm willing to do it for that. It will take bids too. Let's just say you do post at 800, 900, all of a sudden carriers are booking 1,100, 1,000, 1,100, 1,100. We kind of know that market rate may be moving up slightly. Because lane data is hard to come by. It's like the stock market, like predicting different, you might be moving them out of Nashville, the same price for 8 months, and all of a sudden Nissan decided to release 100,000 Rogues, to the masses, and now all of a sudden there's a huge demand to get out of Nashville, so that price just went up, right? Like, snowbird season comes up right about now. It's going to be very expensive to go north to south in these next couple months. But on a good thing, I tell dealers is like, hey, if you're looking for more inventory, look at Manheim, Orlando right now, because coming out of Florida, it's pretty cheap. Carriers don't want to come out empty, because that's just empty miles they're putting on their trucks. So they'll pretty much take whatever they need to get back north, to get that inventory to go back south from people moving their their snowbird vehicles. But yeah, again, Colorado in the mountains, all of a sudden they don't want to go there in the wintertime. So the price to go through the Colorado mountains gets a little bit more expensive. Yeah, weather plays a huge role into it, so yeah, the price changes for different things like that.
That's interesting that happens throughout it. And I guess more than anything, y'all are the brokers now, right? I mean, that's how that system works. Do y'all have to have a lot of people in the back end to make this happen?
Right. So it's kind of like the technology in a way is kind of connecting, right? The shipper and the carrier. And yeah, I mean, we do have an operations team. Like I said, when you're buying out of auction, especially, about 90% of all loads probably go pretty smoothly. I mean, you have a 24-hour pickup window at Manheim, Pennsylvania. Your dealership, you may allow, after night drop out, and it's just autopilot. You didn't need a broker making these large rips off of you to move that. Now there is 10% of the time that a guy falls through 3 days out, and now I need to really get this vehicle or whatever. And we have an operations team that's sitting right on the other side of the screen that is monitoring ETAs, expectations, standards, and it's somebody for you in case you do need that on that 10% of the time or 5%, whatever you're doing with, somebody to reach out to. So you have best of really all worlds. Is you have somebody that you can reach out to, you have the ability to post, you have the ability to reach out to the carrier. We want you to talk to the carrier. We want the transparency for you to do that. Whereas in other models, they don't want you talking to the carriers. They don't want you to know what you're paying the truck and what I just charged you. They don't want you, doing that. So
Yeah.
we welcome it.
Is there a way in y'all's platform to GPS track where my load is across the country? Because to me, that sometimes I get a little uneasy, right? I was supposed to have my truck here, my $50,000 truck here 2 days ago, and it's not here. And I've texted the guy and he's not responding. I'd love to know where that thing is. And it's not that there's any evil intent. Something happened. I mean, how does that work?
Yeah, so we do. I would say, and again, I'd like to be transparent, be upfront. We require all of our carriers to live track and trace, we call it. And not everyone likes to be tracked and traced. But I would say, honestly, probably 75% of all of our loads accurately track and trace the whole way through. And then we have, like right now, like a carrier will deduct, before you book the load, it's like you are required to live track and trace, so there will be deducted so and so money from the rate. You know what I mean? So like to really try to make sure that happens. But welcome to 2025. Everything's tracked and traced nowadays. Like that's just the expectation, the service level that everyone provides, and we want to do the same thing in the vehicle logistics space.
Yeah, and I like too is the BOL part of it is when these shippers, there's a consistency to it. I had an incident with a Tesla Model Y I bought a couple months ago out of Manheim, Southern California. Unfortunately, worst auction in the entire country, and it shows up with a cracked windshield, and I'm like, that freaking shipper didn't tell me he broke the windshield. He must have had a chain drop or something. So I go back through the, contact you guys, and you're like, hey, check out the pictures. So I go back, and of course there's great video and pictures of the Tesla sitting in the parking lot right outside the gate of Manheim, Southern California with a broken windshield before he put it on the truck. So
that happens so often.
Obviously this windshield was broken in the auction, right? Because he literally had pulled it 100 feet out of the auction and it had a broken windshield. But sure enough, Manheim's not going to take any responsibility because their CR had a clean windshield. And I'm telling them 100 yards later, it has a broken windshield. And they're like, well, anyways, but knowing that and just having that consistency of record is super important, because I don't get that when I sometimes go out to my, buddy on the shipping, because he might farm it out to another guy that doesn't care or doesn't have an obligation. Like you guys with your software, these dudes have to upload a video at pickup and drop off.
The pictures, it's all about really CYA, covering your butt. Because just like you said, you may not have seen that, but you take all those pictures and then you go back and you can compare the pickup photos to the drop-off photos. So many times it helps with arbitration back at Manheim, or to really put the blame on, or now the carrier is liable, and now you go through the proper channels, whether they want to pay out of pocket or they want to use insurance to cover, which majority of the time they'd rather pay out of pocket so their insurance doesn't surge. But
Hey, real quick break to make sure you guys know about Blitz Pay. It's who I use to take all the payments at my Buy Here, Pay Here dealership. We've been with them for almost 3 years now, and it is absolutely amazing. It's great.
Yeah, the product is so simple, even an idiot like me can use it. But when my collector's out and I'm just taking a phone call here or there, no matter where I am, I can log into Blitz Pay and I can take that payment. I can see the customers texting in and say, hey, can you run this? Or whatever's going on, it's always on top of it. And the money's in the bank almost the next day. And that is, to me, so important.
And the support is great. If we do have a chargeback or a dispute, we get an email that says, hey, there was this dispute. And then their team goes to work to help us resolve it. They don't just dump it back on your table with some random notification or email that you barely ever see, like my previous processors.
Yeah, that is so helpful. And a lot of times it's because our customers did something wrong. But when it's not, they'll fight to the end with you and get that money back in your account. Yeah, so give them a call. The guys and girls over at Blitz Pay, great partner to have.
definitely an essential tool to have if you're a buy here, pay here dealer.
Let's talk about if every dealer out there should be using auto hauler exchange. So let's put that up front. But if for some reason somebody decided, what are some best practices that dealers should be doing to ensure the safety of their cars?
I would obviously the vetting of the carrier is the biggest thing. There's so many carriers out there right now. That the vetting is by far the biggest thing.
And how can you do that as, I mean, as just a dealer who's trying to get loads moved, and if you're buying, you know, 10 or 15 cars a day or something like that, and maybe you have onesies and twosies, and calling these insurance companies and making sure they have insurance. I mean, that seems almost impossible.
You would literally need to do that too, because you've seen it too, where someone will maybe like, hey, I need your insurance card. They'll send it, but that they don't know that insurance is still live.
Yeah.
Whereas obviously there's vendors out there that will monitor that by the second. That's the biggest thing, just making sure insurance and you're covered there.
Well, how about all these cars that are getting stolen?
How?
I mean,
how does someone steal a car? How do cars get stolen these days? Like it's bad lately.
they take them out of Mannheim or Odessa with the drive out.
How do they get it out?
Somebody gave them a drive out.
Yep.
How do they get a gate pass?
The pickup pass. Someone's bad within a carrier group maybe, and shares a pickup pass with somebody who's not so good.
So you think that so this has either got to happen at the Mannheim level, and you've got some guy who has access to print a gate pass for my car and send it to his sketchy buddy who's going to come out and snag that thing out. Everything's filmed. I have to write my driver's license number on every gate pass and have it scanned. So I don't get how that happens. But then or if you have a bad shipper who says, oh, this is a sweet ride, I'm going to send it over to my guy and I'm going to shoot him the gate pass and he's going to rip it out of there and take it to Mexico. Like, is that the other spot?
Yeah, but I don't know if that person would want to do that either, because then like we have we would have tracking of everybody who's seen that within that company. So then that person would be investigated to figure out like where was the leak, where was the leak, how did that leak happen to get to somebody how did that pass get to the bad guy? You know what I mean? And you follow that trail. Not so good for that person that let that out.
So auto hauler exchange has a way so that in theory that shouldn't happen, because y'all have chain of custody, I guess is the best way to say that.
Yeah. I mean, you see exactly who's viewed that pass. There would definitely be definitely some breadcrumbs we'd be able to follow or find to get to that person that leaked it.
So let me ask this. So even on the auto hauler platform, there has to have been theft. Like,
there's been theft on auto hauler?
Yeah, like someone's stealing a car, someone's losing a vehicle. You guys have shipped something that's got lost. Like it just has to happen, right?
Ship something that's gotten lost. We've had units damaged, where this was one of the ones that I know, this was like when we kind of early started, where a unit caught fire driving on the freeway, and it was 3 on a trailer, caught fire on the first one, and the wind blew it onto the second vehicle. The wind then blew it onto the third vehicle. All 3 done. That one was a scary one, but again, insurance covered that. That was about 110,000 in losses.
Oh my gosh.
We haven't had any issues. We've been nervous on a few where we're like, wait, this seems a little shady, and then double checking. We've had it where a good carrier one time caught a situation where somebody reached out to them of like, hey, we're switching up the drop-off location. And caught that, and where he's like, this doesn't seem right. He reached out to us. We don't know if it was poor, whatever their intentions, but again, by using the right sources to vet,
and I like that, and I like that a lot. When I book through you guys, I don't ever talk to anyone else, and I think that's crucial for security, because when you book through a broker, you've got 50 people calling you, and you don't know if it's really Susan from broker or whatever, or it's somebody trying to tell you they got to reroute your load and they need an updated phone number, or hey, you need to send a gate pass to this phone number so I can get the car out. I'm here at the auction. It's like, you don't get that crap anymore. No, man. I uploaded it. If you need a gate pass, I'll upload it to Auto Hauler and you can log in and get it. I'm not going to send it directly to your email or your phone number. Like, that's bull crap. So that's the beauty of having a technology first platform, is it's like, no, everything's there. It's all recorded. It's all documented. Like there's minimal ways for people to insert themselves into the system.
when that got real hot and heavy too, we really leaned into like that two-step authentication too. So if you did have like maybe carriers that did work for a company, but we had to remove their login, we didn't want them logging back in unless the two-step authentication. That was a big thing for us too.
Mm.
You know, I mean, theft is hard in any industry, but yeah, we've been very fortunate to kind of get ahead of a lot of that stuff.
Yeah. And I think when these guys show up, I mean, I'm probably 50-50, like the transporters that actually deliver the car. Uh, some speak English, most don't. Probably 50-50 on that part. And then every so often it'll show up on some sort of 3-car wedge. And I'm like, all right, well, he
I'll
made
tell you,
it. So that's a success.
it's funny. It's funny that we're recording this today because I don't use Auto Hauler Exchange. I'm gonna say that right now, but I I'm tempted to switch.
Dude, it doesn't
Anyway,
cost you anything. You just sign up and use it.
I know,
so
I know.
easy.
I'm so
Okay.
been doing the same thing for so long. This morning, a transporter was bringing in two GMC 2500 vans, and the transporter hit a telephone pole. I'm sorry, a power pole, knocked out the power to our dealership, and it was out for about 2 hours. So I was almost unable to get on a call this morning because of that. And I had one of my good friends total a $30,000 van the other day. That's a transporter. So these things happen, Jeff. And if you ship enough cars, they happen a lot, unfortunately.
Knock on wood. Frank,
Knock on wood.
let me wrap this up with a couple of requests I have as a user of the platform. I got to be able to upload a gate pass and have AI post it. The fact that I have to like pick the location, pick the destination, and copy and paste the VIN number, it's like 3 steps, and then I have to upload the gate pass. That's like 4 steps that should be simplified by AI.
Oh, I've been asking that for 2 years, and and it's probably on our deal. But the fact that you just said that might move it up even quicker. I love that.
It's the integration between me buying a load and me getting it on the exchange, and that's the rub, right? Like you'll never get API integration with Cox, right? Like you won't get a button on their website. That won't happen.
No,
which would be great.
But if you could just drag a PDF of your gate pass right into the site, it knows it's picking up from Mannheim, Nashville, and you know it's going to your location every time. You know the price you've been paying, or you know what the market rate is inside of the AI, whatever it is, and you drag and drop 8 of those in, or 1 file of them in, and they automatically. That's a goal for sure.
Yeah, that would be a huge streamline. It would take 4 steps out of the process, because honestly, that's the only rub to using the platform, is that I got to log in, add the destination, add the pickup, add the VIN number, price it, add the gate pass. It's not that hard, but
I mean, it's really, it probably takes you 30 seconds to pick Mannheim, Nashville, whatever, Mannheim, there, Denver.
And now you guys have saved the pickup hours, which is super handy. So that's nice when I bring up a used location that I've used before, because before it was a little bit of a headache. I'm like, come on, there's like 80 locations in the country that get picked up from, maybe 180, let's say. Those should all be pre-programmed.
These are all anyways. Because now there's 2 that we use Google listings. So it'll actually take Google listings when you put in the address and use their operation number. So again, it's going to keep evolving like that. But these are all requests I've been asking for.
The only other thing I have is ACH payments. Why do you guys make me send a check? Why do you send me a 2-page invoice on every load? I got to imagine your accounts payable have got to be insane. Jeff, or your accounts receivable. Like
Jeff, I love that you're saying all this, because wait till you're about a month from now and I don't want to give it a date, but it's in the accounting whole thing, because you're right. With the way that we're growing right now, we just hired a new accounting person for that reason.
I know. She emails me all the time.
But you're going to see some huge upgrades in the accounting part of this. And I've been asking for that too.
Yeah, it's so silly. Like once it's verified that it's dropped off, like take the funds.
It should be immediately. It shouldn't. It should never. The aggravation. I just got a text while we're doing this. Says, "Hey, can you leave a check out for me tonight?" That is such a pain. Or, "Hey, can you Zelle me?" I'm like, man, come on. This is not rocket science.
Yeah. So we are paying we are paying the truck. So you're never paying carriers, but Jeff now has to pay us. And, he may move 10 units this week, and he's going to get batch billed for those 10 units. There needs to be an easier way for him to just,
because then I got to print out all these invoices, then I got to get into bill pay, and then I got to send it with the unique code so that I can track it to make sure you guys get it and get it credited to the right car. Anyway, so yeah, that process could easily be streamlined, in my opinion, and you guys would get your cash so much faster, especially from
Yep.
guys like dealers. I mean, come on, we love to string everybody out we can.
Yeah.
It's called float. It's called float,
Called
Jeff.
float.
Float.
What else you got, Jeff? Any other? I love it. 'Cause-
No, I think that's it. That's the only things that off the top of my head. The invoice, if it's going to be an invoice, make it 1 page. Why is it 2 pages? It prints a second page. There's nothing on the second page.
yeah.
So
So
that's
Jeff,
probably the
what?
only thing, my only advice, because everything else is super smooth, super easy, like transparent. I even had my shipper who I normally use. He got on the platform and started looking at stuff, and he's like, well, what did you list this one for? I see that you have a Highlander coming out of Southern California. What'd you list? Are they taking an arbitrage between what you say you're going to pay and what your fees are? And I was like, no, I listed it at $400. And he's
Yeah.
like, oh, okay. Yeah, that's what it pays. or
Again,
whatever.
carriers aren't used to seeing that because you get
Yeah.
a quote and then they go try to get it for the lowest dollar, posted on their boards or their marketplaces. But yeah, that's what happened.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I was like, I don't see as a shipper why you're just not on the system, because if you do have a load and you need to fill the last 2 spaces, this is the best way to do it. I mean, just you pick up onesie twosies wherever you can.
And
On your
our
way
carriers-
from where
our
you're
carriers
going.
have preferred lanes now too that they're assigned. Like they pick what their lanes. I come out of Dallas every time, so they get notifications as soon as you post one out of their preferred lane. They get a notification instantly, and they can book it right off of that notification. So we're just trying to speed this whole thing up.
Mm-hmm.
Jeff, what is your
Yeah.
favorite thing about using vehicle auto hauler compared to the traditional way we used to do it? Is it just the non-aggravation aspect of it?
Yeah, I mean, coordinating shipments for someone who has larger volume than me, it's a full-time job. I don't get it,
Yeah.
because my system before I started using Auto Hauler more accurately was I would just text a gate pass to my guy, and he would ship that thing out to wherever it was. And he had a buddy that came from Denver, or he had a buddy coming from San Francisco, and he'd ship it out to his buddy. And then I guess he would pay them and I'd pay him. And it was very, it was very vague as to who actually had possession of my car at any one time. So if there ever was damage, it was really hard to go back through that chain of control or possession to see who was responsible. So the fact that now I can put it in one spot and it's one guy picking it up and bringing it directly to me, right? The guy who picked it up from the auction is the guy dropping it off. And then also the fact that I never have to talk to them. I don't have to interact. I don't have to pick up the phone. I don't have to send him a gate pass and deal with that stuff. Every so often, Manheim will screw something up and the guy will show up and the key won't be there, or it won't be running, or some bullshiz that isn't the shipper's fault will happen. But man, it's streamlining the process.
Yeah.
That's
Safety and convenience sounds like.
And for me, it's convenience over everything, because I'm not shipping $80,000 Mercedes.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, if you knock that freaking Ford Focus off the side of your transporter, like, I'm out like $3,000. Like, okay, big deal. Like,
my dad,
if you added a scratch, you actually made that bumper look better because now you evened out the dents.
my dad just bought a Shelby from Washington State, and this happened last week, and he said, hey, I need you to get that thing shipped in. And the first thing that came to my mind was, oh my God, I'm just thinking, so Auto Hauler Exchange is going to ship it in. And I already told my dad, I said, it's going to probably be like $4,000 to ship it. Cause I don't even want this thing to get touched, because I can't imagine the blowback I'm gonna get from him.
Yeah. Where is it going to and from?
Somewhere in Washington State to Columbia, South Carolina.
Hey, Luke, bust in real quick on the episode. Make sure you guys know about TaxMax and the great discount they're giving our members. Use the code VIP to get 35% off the VIP package, which, if you go back to the episode we recorded with Bill a couple weeks ago, you're going to know all the things that the VIP TaxMax program does for you. It's the text-to-file, it's this automatic phone call follow-up. You also get access to their consulting groups. So a lot of stuff is going on with taxes right now, and the big beautiful bill has made everyone's tax refunds big and more beautiful, right?
Yeah, big and beautiful for buy here, pay here stores for sure, and probably for retail dealers too. But people are getting larger and larger tax refunds this year because of that. Now they might be delayed slightly because of the government shutdown, but I can tell you this: they're going to be bigger, they're going to be more beautiful, and your P&L at the end of the year is going to be more beautiful.
I love a beautiful P&L. So reach out to Bill and the team over at TaxMax. Use the code VIP to get 35% off the VIP package and start getting logged into their consulting groups right now. Learn the program and use it to make more money this tax season.
Okay. So
And you
across
can-
the whole country, it won't be $4,000, but
It won't be, but it's going to
but
be
it's probably
expensive.
one of the more expensive things you can ask for. It's an enclosed carrier going from
Yeah,
across
right.
the whole country, but I've never seen a load go for $4,000 for a
But
single vehicle.
you know what I mean. It's got to be enclosed. It's a $200,000 car. Like it's going to be one of those.
What kind of Shelby is it? I'm a big Mustang guy.
67 GT 500.
Oh wow.
Yeah, and it's just I don't even want to think about if I were to post this our traditional way, there's no chance because that car would not make it all the way across the country. It would be stolen on the way somewhere, and my dad would just lose his mind, right?
Yeah.
Oh man,
I did pass a load yesterday on a 3-car wedge that was like, it was like a 60 something Mustang, 60 something Impala, and like these were on an open air 3-car wedge on this guy with like a dually, and I was just like,
Oh my
who in the
gosh.
world is shipping this thing? And the front one was on backwards, and I was like, oh my gosh, who is doing this? That
Oh,
is like
man.
insane.
It is
Frank-
truly amazing once you get into the game how many times a vehicle has moved in its lifetime. Like I never noticed vehicle haulers before getting into this. Now
Yeah.
it's like all I see. I mean, I do live in Detroit. I go to Kansas City often, which is kind of like a logistics hub, being centrally located. But like I've had it where a dealer in Michigan buys from an auction in Texas. We move it all the way up to Michigan, it moves up to Michigan. And then all of a sudden they sell it to a customer in Texas. All of a sudden get back down to Texas. You're like, it was insane. It's insane that happened. It's a crazy spend.
Yeah, and not to mention when they're new because they get shipped all over when they're new too. They hop on a train here and go there and go there. But that's funny. Living in the Southeast and getting on 95 every once in a while. I mean, there's haulers everywhere on the 95.
Here's the thing, technology in the distributed auction type model of like an ACV or a backlots or whoever still exists out there, it's going to make that more and more and more, right? Because as guys get more disgruntled with the big guys and buying from a central auction and the fees and all the nonsense, we're going to start buying directly from the new car stores. And so, yeah, I'm only shipping 2 out of a new car store in Texas, and I got to get it here to Utah. I'm not buying 10 in a lane out of Texas,
Yeah.
So that like onesie twosie shipper type thing, because it's being more facilitated now, makes those types of auctions make a lot more sense, right? Because I don't quite need the economies of scale like I used to, because I'd have to fill a 8-car hauler to get anything out of Florida, right? And I don't want to buy 8 cars in the sale that week.
What's funny you say that too is like I have a lot of dealers in Kansas City, and when some of my dealers buy a lot more out of California than some of my, some of my dealers might buy 1, but I have another dealer who's buying 7 out of Manheim, California. And he's like, I can't believe I was able to move that single for that price. But like, little does he know, he's basically combining into the other dealer that just bought 7, and that the one just completed his truck. So he's kind of almost getting like because you can always move multiples for a better price than you can a single vehicle. But he was like blown away that he's moving singles for as cheap as he was. But because the other dealers in Kansas City were all buying from the same location, like it's almost like you're working together to get the most efficient rate to your dealership.
Cool. Frank, hey man, thanks so much for your time.
Thanks, Jeff. I appreciate it. Luke, nice meeting you. And we'll have to get you. I'll help you with that Shelby. I love that.
I'm gonna reach out. He's gonna be back soon, and I'll reach out.
Hey,
Sounds
be
great.
sure you call Frank 586-604-1885. Tell him Jeff sent you and he wants his referral code because they give me this stupid pop-up every time I log in to post a vehicle, and it says I need to have Frank as my referral code.
There you
So
go.
if Auto Hauler would stop spamming me with this stupid pop-up because I hit X and then it pops back up the next time I try to
That
ship.
was actually my idea too, Jeff. So thanks. Hey,
Incessant pop-up.
I'm trying to get whatever I can to get dealers to jump on board because it's honestly, I haven't had a dealer that's given us a fair, honest try it doesn't just base us on the first load or, whatever, but give it a fair, honest try. Not many folks leave once they've kind of like really jumped in and like learned how to use it the right way.
Dude, there's nothing to learn. It's so, I'm looking at my dashboard right now. It's so easy. I see everything in transport. I see everything I'm waiting to get picked up. I see
All
stuff
right.
that's invoiced.
All
I
right,
can
you
click
sold
in,
me.
see the pictures. Like it's the simplest one page upload. Again, it'll get better. But anyway, sorry. Call Frank, get it checked out. Luke's gonna do it.
I'm gonna do it.
All right. See you, Frank.
Thanks, guys.